Hey guys, what's up? This is Noxella with another video. This time I'm doing something at the request of a viewer. But first let's take a look at my armor set. I'm using G Z, the Ceadeus Z set, and I've got the Green Plesioth hammer that's been fully upgraded. I'm going to take on the Brachydios solo mission in G Rank Volcano. Viewer AkantoreX Infinitus, I believe that's the name. Sorry if I mess it up. He asked that I record a video of me going through a solo Brachy quest. And I've spawned with him. He wanted to see me do a solo Brachy just to see how I fight it. So here I am using hammer. I'm a big fan of using the hammer for Brachy, getting KOs and draining its stamina. It's pretty great. I'm a big fan of using the level 2 charge against it. It has pretty great reach for hitting its face. And right now, Cha-Cha has the Pitfall Mask equipped, so I signaled him to set one up. Might as well get it off before he is enraged. And he is growling over there. And you Raptors are being jerks. Come on. And he put slime right there. No, ignore Kayamba. Come here, please. Let me hit your head. Okay, that works. So, free Pitfall at the start. It'll make getting the KO really easy. But not if I miss my golf swings. Alright, there we go. I'm using the Green Plesioth hammer since Brachydios is actually weak to water, and I've also got water attack +1 on the set, as well as high grade earplugs for blocking those roars. A couple of things that you want to look out for Brachydios, and two of them you just saw right there. The first was when he puts his horn down, he'll do explosion attacks. One of them involves launching them forward in a straight line for a certain distance. The other is a sort of area of effect explosion where it'll light up the ground where explosions will occur, sort of like Teostra and Lunastra from the previous games. Another big attack that you need to watch out for is when he takes a quick step backwards, applies slime to his arms, and then jumps. That's an attack that a lot of people have issues with, but as long as you see it, you can usually start walking towards him and then roll under his jump, and that's usually enough to get you under. Although, if you're kind of close, sometimes he'll hit you as he's jumping, so just make sure that you keep an eye out for that. Another thing to keep in mind is how Brachydios changes some of its flinches from out of rage and in rage mode. His leg flinch, you can actually make him fall over when he's outside of rage mode. But once he gets mad, just regular leg flinches will just stumble him instead of tripping him outright. If you also saw there, I have speed Sharpen. It's just a handy tool. Make things go a little quicker. And we'll jump right back in. Oh, I actually got... Oh. I was about to say I got pretty lucky in that he got out of rage mode and lost some of his slime, so I didn't get exploded, but he punched for a lot longer than I expected. And your Raptors are jerks as always. Anyways, still trying to get KOs, but I'm also going to try to get some leg flinches since he's outside of rage mode. Maybe I'll take advantage of that. I don't know, maybe not. I think Brachydios is kind of a fun monster to fight. It kind of keeps you getting around. Make sure you're not too sluggish. He's got a pretty interesting movement pattern. He sort of pivots around on his arms. Makes it an interesting fight. Admittedly, I'm not a big fan of fighting him in the tundra. I'm not a big fan of fighting him in the Volcano, because sometimes he gets stuck in the lava. And there you go. Got a trip. Just a note, whenever I get a trip, I'll usually try to get a whirlwind off, either a trip or a KO. There's usually enough time to get at least one whirlwind, and if he's KO'd, you can usually get a whirlwind, golf swing, and then start up a triple pound. It's just the standard hammer combo. And if you position yourself correctly, you can get the triple pound off on his head as he's getting back up. And start getting those big hits as he's getting up again. Brachydios has 4 breaks. He's got 2 arm breaks, his horn break, which I got earlier, and a tail cut. The arms are actually fairly resistant, unlike, say, Broth, whose arms are pretty fragile. I'm not sure how much damage they take, but they seem to be break parts that have a fairly high break threshold, so you won't get it off so easily. But it still is worth breaking them, because you want to get those pounder pluses, or those pounders, since they're somewhat uncommon as a material. One thing to consider as a hammer user with any monster in general is just repositioning yourself in such a way that you'll force the monster to turn towards you. And when you do that, you'll force the monster to turn around into a predictable position, so you can get off, say, super pound or level 2 charge, triple pound, what have you. And another thing to consider with monsters is obviously when they taunt. Brachydios, one of his taunts involves growling, and then he reapplies slime to his arms. And when he does that, he raises his head a bit, so that can be a problem for hammer users, since it'll put it outside of your range of attack. Although maybe the level 2 charge can get it when he raises his head. Since Brachy's exhausted, I'm going to drop another Pitfall Trap. Get some extra time since he's tired. That's one of the stamina mechanisms that they added in Try. Going for a Whirlwind, a Golf Swing, and let's go for a Triple Pound, and I will miss the first hit, but I got the Golf Swing, so it's cool. For general places you want to hit, as a hammer, you obviously want to hit the face. I believe the face and the horns are actually separate hit spots. So the horn is actually somewhat damage resistant. For instance, if you're using a cutting weapon, you're probably going to bounce off the horn. But the face is a pretty good spot to hit. If you haven't noticed already, whenever Brachydios gets enraged, a lot of his punching attacks that originally just drop slime puddles now explode as he punches the ground. That has sort of wide range, so it can be kind of tricky to get out of his way. But I've got Evade +1 on this set, so it'll help me a little bit. And alright, another KO. This is pretty helpful since he is in rage mode. This will eat some rage time, get him back into normal mode. Missed the golf swing, but hopefully you saw there. That's usually what I go for. One whirlwind, get off good damage, and finish off with a triple pound as he's getting back up. For fighting Brachydios, regardless of what weapon you're using, when you're close up against him, he does a lot of punching attacks. Either he'll punch the ground, lay a slime puddle, or explode the ground while he punches, or he'll take a swing. Generally, I found that it's safer to roll under him, although you obviously can be hit by the explosion. Ooh, that's a bad hit. Although whenever he uses slime attacks, I think whenever he uses them or just over time, he loses some slime, and unless he reapplies it, he won't get it anymore, so then he can actually lose the ability to punch explosions, which is pretty convenient when it happens, but it doesn't always happen. Another thing to look out for is when his slime puddles explode, they actually drop shinies, or at least have a chance to drop shinies. And if you're in high rank, you want to watch out for those because you can sometimes get gems. I think it's like a 1% drop rate. And likewise in G Rank, you have a 1% chance of getting a pallium. There's a shiny right there, but I'm gonna ignore it because I want to beat him up some more. Hopefully it'll still be around when I stop, but I don't know, we'll see. Another thing to keep in mind when you're hammering anything in general is that when you're using your standard combo, you don't always want to mash through and get it off as quickly as possible. Sometimes you want to stall the progression of your hits so that, say if like the monster is KO'd and its head is wobbling a lot, you don't necessarily want to mash all the hits since you have a decent likelihood of missing some of those hits, and say if you're hammering, missing the golf swing is kind of not so great since it's one of the most damaging moves, if not the most damaging move. So always keep in mind the position and the movement that the part you're targeting, just the movement in general of where it's going. And you know, if you press X really quickly, and maybe that with the motion of the monster is gonna miss, you might want to consider stalling the motion, or stalling your attack just a tiny bit, and maybe you'll get the hit off. If not, no big deal, whatever. You might not have got the hit anyways. Turn around. There he goes. And the shiny looks like it's gone. Well, I actually forgot to bring meat and any sort of stamina source. I know supplies are back, but I don't really want to go all the way back down there, so whatever, no big deal. I'll just keep fighting. I can deal with a little stamina loss. Interestingly, gotta watch out for that combo. Interestingly, Brachydios' head is actually not too hard to hit with standard combo hits. Unlike, say, Jade Baroth or some other monster, it's actually fairly low down. So there are times where it's actually not too bad to hit. Although you do want to keep your positioning in mind when you're next to him, since if you're using the level 2 charge, for instance, If you're too close, you have a fair likelihood of hitting his pounders instead of his head. So you might not want that. Oh, that was a nice... we're gonna say that was a nice flinch. And then I missed my golf swing. Oh well. And whenever you're using a sort of weapon that charges, you want to keep in mind whether or not you should get rid of that charge or whether you should sort of pull a gambit and try to go for the attack. The usual sort of thing applies where you just want to consider where you're at, where the monster's at, what the monster's doing, whether or not you can get that attack off without getting hit too badly. So dang, I'm taking a lot of hits right now. Thank you, Cha-Cha. So when you're charging an attack and you think if you go all the way, like say if you're using a great sword, if you go all the way for the level 3, you think you're gonna get messed up. There's no harm in compromising and just going for the level 2 or something. Of course you can always trade hits, but that's probably not the best idea. Although if you can get like a KO off before you get hit, looks pretty rad. You're after your rude. Come here, Brachydios. You are far away. I guess I'll talk a little bit about my equipment. Goldbeard Ceadeus is the urgent to get into G rank. And it's actually a pretty good set. In spite of how early you have access to him. If you like the skills like Sharpness +1 and high grade earplugs, I would recommend going for him. It's like a really good set. It does require a bit of farming, especially since you're doing Ceadeus. So hopefully you'll have good luck with getting furs and dark gems, since the set does need a fair amount of those and they're kind of uncommon. You also need Conqueror seals, and those come from multi-monster hunt quests. You do have immediate access to them as soon as you beat Goldbeard, so once you start farming the set, you pretty much have access to everything you need. I'm not sure if you need regular Ceadeus parts. I don't think you do, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But hopefully it shouldn't be too big of a deal. It also has quite a lot of slots, so you can work in some nice things. It does have Blunt Edge, the negative skill of Razor Sharp, so if you don't gem that out, your sharpness will depreciate much more quickly. And of course, just like in Try, the points in Razor Sharp are opposite of the handicraft points, so it's not enough to just use one slot or the basic +1 gem. I actually happen to have a Talisman with sharpness or Razor Sharp +3 and 3 slots, so not only can I gem out Blunt Edge, I can also put in quite a few skills. As I mentioned before, I have Speed, Sharpen, and Evade +1. Those aren't skills that normally are on the set, and thanks to the slots in my Talisman, it works out pretty nicely. That was too bad. I'm actually kind of surprised Brachydios hasn't gone to eat yet. Alright. So that's all the breaks. Oh, nice. And he is limping. So we're almost done with this quest. If you're hunting for gems or palliums, I would typically recommend that you kill Brachydios, since the rate for getting it from capture rewards and from carves is the same. But the problem with capturing is that you're not necessarily guaranteed the maximum rewards, so there's a chance that you'll get less rewards from capture than you would from carves. But if you have the Tranquilizer or Capture Master skill, it actually works out well, and you're guaranteed to get the maximum number of capture rewards. Alright, nice. Off swing finish. That was about 20 minutes. Just a tier, whatever. Let's see if I can get any cool carves. Hello, Cha-Cha. As I mentioned before, Cha-Cha has the Pitfall Mask. If you signal him, he acts as a Pitfall Trap. I think it's like a 6-star commodity trade in high rank with the Argosy Captain. And the cooldown for him resetting his Pitfall is actually pretty long, so you probably won't get more than 1 or 2 uses per quest. Also, as I forgot to mention, or go into detail, I have the Green Plesioth hammer. It's pretty good. This one's fully upgraded, and it upgrades from the Iron Path, the Warhammer path. Good slots, good damage. Probably one of the best water hammers before G Rank Gen comes out. Yep. No palliums or gems. Well, whatever. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I don't know, check out Teamwork Cast's channel, and I'll see you later.